G'day and welcome back for more Space Engineers Survival. And today, as promised, there are a couple of things that have changed in the scenario to make things a bit more interesting. Well, there's really one big thing. The big thing that's changed is this enemy base, the one that's just under 10 kilometers away from our base. I have made a script. Yes, you heard that right. Splitsie made a script. It consists of about 5 lines, and it took me about 5 hours to figure out how to do it. But it's done, and I did it. And what it does is gradually increases the antenna range of the antenna that is responsible for spawning the drones. So the way those bases work is they have a special antenna which has a special ability to spawn in enemy drones when it's under the control of the Space Pirate faction. And it's that antenna which is going to gradually encroach and approach my base so that its range will eventually, if I leave it long enough before I attack it, cover my base, which would mean I would be under constant drone attack. And that's why I talked about this rocky outcropping up here, because that rocky outcropping is quite elevated and it's virtually in a direct line from that enemy base to my base. So most, if not all, of the drones should come directly over that. What I'm going to do in time, if I can manage to find any of the other bases, is I'm going to give them the same treatment. So eventually I'm going to have to deal with those bases, or I'm going to be probably swamped by constant drone attacks. And managing all of the inventory of making sure everything's still armed and ready to go will be quite difficult, especially as I'll also have to protect any of my mining efforts. So the Goose is actually going to have to get the treatment that I gave to the version of it which is on the workshop. It's going to need to get a turret on it, at least for some cursory partial form of defense. But what I'll also probably need to do is make some more sandbags and put them around any of my future mine sites so that I've got a bit of extra protection there all of the time as well. Now, this is that little rocky outcropping. What I plan on building up here is a bit of a bunker, and I want to build a second bunker on the headland that's near the ice where I raised a few of the sandbags on top of. So that headland, I'm going to build another bunker over there as well, so that we've got some large grid turrets that are in position to take out any enemy drones that come by. And because I don't want to keep flying back up there and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, I'm going to actually load up the nugget with some components so that I hopefully will be able to weld the whole thing up at once, which should make it a little bit better when we finally get around to doing this. So, well, a little bit easier. I'm not going to actually weld it with the nugget because it doesn't really work very well, but it should be useful enough as a cargo drone. Now, what I need, I suspect, since I want to put some consoles in this thing, and the consoles from Colt's Command console pack use a lot of computers. So I'm going to add a lot of computers to the production queue so that we get a bunch more ready to go. And there is another thing that I'm going to be doing today, but that's going to come once it's dark, because it's lighting and it's outdoor lighting. So that is going to be much easier to do in the darkness. So let's drive the tick out of the way because I'm going to use its connector for the nugget. And we'll take advantage of the fact that we can raise this connector so that we don't end up cooking the floor with the nugget's thrusters. And before I go and do too much with this, let's set it up a little bit better. It's currently set up terribly. Let's grab all of our thrusters and actually make them into a group. So that's all of those, and don't forget these ones, which I normally do. So thrusters, this will be nugget thrusters so that it won't get lost in the list of names for the other grids when we're attached to the base. Let's hide things again. What I also want to do is call this Nugget Welder 1. This will be Nugget Welder 2. This is going to make it a lot easier to fill the cargo with the parts that we need for this base. There we go. That should be most of what I need to do. So I'm going to park this up, and then I'm going to grab just the parts I need in order to lay down the design of this little base while this is getting a bit of charge and while those computers are all being manufactured. I've built a bunker similar-ish to this in the past, so this design's based on something I have had in my head before. Hopefully that'll mean that the design process goes a bit more smoothly than usual. And what we're going to do is we're going to clear out a few of these things that I don't need. And we need that curve, have a couple of those. Actually, not that one. I reckon this one's going to be better. We're going to need turrets, not interior turrets, Gatling turrets. We'll need conveyors. We're going to need batteries. And we're going to need a beacon. What else do we need? We will need windows. And we'll grab where is it? That one. Alright. So, first off, we are going to use our dark grey colour for this. I'm going to try and line up these blocks so that we're pointing straight at the enemy base. Because I think that will make it much more interesting when we're inside. So we'll start with a row here. I want to place 2 Gatling turrets on this, which means we need to make this about 4 blocks wide in terms of the interior part of it. And that's because each of these is going to be occupying a 3x3 space, so I can place 1 on that end and 1 on that end when we place it up there. What I'll do is I'm also going to place down these consoles first. Actually, no. Not there yet. That's not on that row. I want these to kind of hang out a bit. So we'll go to slope, go like that. Yeah. That'll make it look better when it's finished, I think. If it's all kind of hanging out on the edge a bit. Like that. So that'll be our full width of our little bunker base thing. Then we place 2 of these in the middle. I want to put a curve there and a curve here. And the reason I've placed these first is that they're actually going to allow me to place our glass on the outside. Like so. This is a layout I am very familiar with because this is very similar to how the front of the RX-39487, which is the ship I built for my Machinima series, was built. The glass at the front of it is actually attached to the consoles and nothing else, because that was the only way to make the space feel tight yet still have enough room for everything that I wanted in there. And it's a handy thing about the Colt Command console pack is that they do actually have an attachment surface on that side of things, which means you don't have to use the little trick that is done on the atmospheric lander of putting a little slope underneath to support the glass. So that's going to be our little command center. And if any of you guys are wondering what I'm talking about when I say I've made a Machinima series, it's something I am actually still working on, albeit very slowly, which is a sort of comedy series that is written by my friend Carepack. With those walls raised up like that, we'll place some glass across the... not out there. Place some glass across the top, like so. And then we need the slope for these front parts as well. And that's going to be the front. Now, the turrets themselves are going to be placed... let's grab our conveyor junction. One there, and one here. With a cargo container underneath. And another one underneath on this side. These are going to be joined by conveyor tubes. And these conveyor tubes I will eventually cover with a glass surface that we can walk on. But for now, so that we can actually weld them later, I'm going to leave them exposed. So that'll be the way the two conveyors are joined. Then we can place our turrets up here. We'll have our double turret defense. Bit more armor down the side here. Whoops. I realize it's a little bit silly to have big glass frontage on a military installation, but I'm going to argue that it's for visibility of the enemy, because we're the ones who are going to be shooting. And it's bulletproof glass. Surely that makes it more okay. Really, it's just because I think it looks nice. So, for the rest of our roof, what I think we'll do is this. Place those across there, and then use these slopes like this. There. Oh, no, I don't need to do that. Silly, silly, silly. I was thinking old school. Let's go with the new way of doing things. Half slabs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then let's use tips here. So it transitions nicely to the glass. Yeah. There we go. And then we got a roof. Now we also are going to need a back wall on this. Start that. And if I can get this to here. The snapping is a bit funny at the moment because I'm also within the snappable area for the main base. I'm probably going to have to drill out a little bit of this ground as well. Yep. So let's drill you. And let's drill a little bit here. Rather not have the grass show through the floor. Is that going to be alright? Mostly. Mostly okay. Let's just get rid of all. There we go. That should cover it up pretty well. So, in this gap that I've just drilled out, we're going to place our beacon and some batteries once those little rocks are gone. So I'm going to place one battery on the floor here and another one over here. And the beacon serves really just one purpose. I want the beacon here because when it goes dim, that means the base is out of power and I need to do something about it. Hopefully I'll notice long before then, but at least it will give me some degree of warning that I am defenseless from this base. But even with just the basic amount of power that you get from the batteries when you first build them, I have the feeling that I'm extremely unlikely to run out of power. Because this base is not going to use very much, so it's really not going to run out. Let's clean the beacon out and let's grab our slope windows and place them in the front. There we go. Now, so we'd have a door on this side as well as a door on this side over here. And then you walk through here, you can hop into the control consoles, you can stand back and you can look all around. Great visibility. And we can grab our turrets and control and shoot as the enemies are coming in, so we don't have to leave it as automated, which should be fun. And we need, last up, we need a door. So I think we place 2 doors in this. I think it'll look more balanced if we do that. Then, outside. This is where things are going to get interesting. I have a bit of a silly idea planned in the future for dealing with our soon-to-be power problems. With all the extra lights that I'm placing on the base, we are going to run out of power soon. So I need to think about a way we're going to deal with that. the silly way I want to deal with our power problem is actually through a system of solar towers with removable battery systems, which is totally ridiculous, no doubt, but I think it'll be fun to set up. Now, I also want to put one here, which means I'm going to have to drill that out. There we go. And the way that battery system is going to integrate with things like this base is through a merge block. And what we'll do to set that up, how will I join that to this? I'm going to need to put a merge block kind of in the middle of an open space. All of these, put a tip there, followed by the slope, then merge block. Then we go back and do the same on this side. Slope and tip. Then we can just do one of these. And do it all the way around. And I think when that's done it'll look alright. We'll see. I may have to redesign this in the future once I've figured out exactly how the rechargeable batteries are going to attach to each of the different bases, but that'll be the rough idea, so that we have this kind of area outside, and this will be what it'll look like when it's done. So now I'm going to go back and grab the nugget with a whole bunch of equipment. Hopefully not fry too much of that as I come into land, which I probably will now that I shouldn't have placed that outside bit yet. I might grind it down actually. Might replace, or at least grind down a couple of bits so that I can land the large thrusters on it. Is there a spot? Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm going to grind off these bits because I'm almost certainly going to cook them with the thrusters, and I've done something wrong here. Let's fix that. There we go, that's better. Glad I noticed that. So now I'll have somewhere to land with the nugget where I won't accidentally destroy some of the pre-placed grids. Let's load her up and hopefully we'll have enough of the computers ready to go. So because of the renaming I did before, I can just go nugget and then CC, we can grab a whole bunch of stuff. Alright, so we're probably going to be short of a thing or two that we need. Largely, I didn't have enough space to fit the batteries and all of the bulletproof glass that we're going to need. I wasn't sure how much of the other components, so I've probably brought too much of them. But it's still going to save me a whole bunch of trips for going back and forth with my engineers, so I think this will still be beneficial. Let's come into land. Got our large thrusters over the dirt. Okay. It's a bit off kilter, but it works. Good, good, good. Now we can just start grabbing components and start welding this sucker up. Oh dear. I have run out of hydrogen. I think I'll make it. Let's go. Yeah, it's plenty. Plenty, plenty, plenty. Really don't want to run out up there. It's a long way to drop. And now I'm going to show you a bit of a time lapse that I did while building the bunker. And for those of you that might get a little bit dizzy, you may want to jump ahead from this. What I've tried to do is set up a camera that's spinning around the top. And it might have gone a little bit quicker and a little bit crooked at times. But I have fun playing around with this, so here we go. pretty happy with this little thing. Just going to add those walkways back in that I removed so that we could park the nugget up here. And the reason I've put these 2x1x1 tips in, even though I don't really want them, is I'm not certain that having just this catwalk and then the edge piece of a slope block would actually pass power between this merge block and the rest of the base. And if I'm going to potentially use that merge block for powering devices on this and passing battery power to the base, I'm going to need to make sure that power actually passes through it. So that is why I've done that way, even though it potentially seems a little silly. So let's place that there. Then we'll weld these up, and we are finished. Oh wait, no, there is a final touch I haven't done. We need some floor in here, and we need the rest of the battery here, because I didn't have enough power cells to finish it. So for the floor, what we're going to do is place... Now, do I want the clear side? Which is the clear side? That's coloured clear. I think I'll go tinted. So tinted side up on top of these. And that'll give us our floor throughout here. And what I think I might do is put both of these on show on HUD. Find out which one is the left one. Oh, there's no antenna, I can't see them. Rats! I'm gonna have to use build vision to figure this out. Okay, or just do this. Oh no! No, 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 no! Oh no! Oh, I didn't grab the... Oh no! I left my hydrogen bottles in the base. Okay. Lights are on. Let's see if I can hike my way back home without dying. Oh geez. How did I... Oh, that was so silly. So silly. Now, do I dare walk down there or do I dare walk the long way? Oh man. Alright, I'm going to set up a camera to follow me because this is going to take a while. Finally made it home. That was slightly annoying. And this is why. Because I left these behind. I may as well grab some glass while I'm here. Actually, let's dump these. So I don't need to be carrying them. Grab some glass. Then we'll head back up. We'll do the floor. And then, now that it's dark, we can actually get the lights on the solar tower and the lights on the little cabin set up as well. Da-da, da-da, da-da. There we go. Now with my lights off, we just get the glow of the beacon and the glow of the consoles, which I think is about what I want. I wonder though, maybe we could do something. I'm going to go grab a couple of pieces because I have an idea. So, my idea I had... Oh. Let's get rid of those so we can grind this bit of the floor out and get rid of that bit of ground that's there. There we go. Don't really want the floor showing, the ground showing through our floor. Come on, go away, boulder. want to build. Stop making me wait to build. Come on. There we go. Now, there were two ideas I had. It was either use another console to fill in these gaps, but what I think we can do is do some interesting lighting. So let's grab our corner light, put one in there, and put one in there. Now, we're not going to have these be white. What we're going to do is see if I can actually grab them. There we go. We're going to get the red down maybe about there. Take a bit of the green out until it's roughly the color of the screens. Then increase the radius a bit like that. And then drop the intensity way down. So now everything just looks like it's in the glow of these screens, sort of. It's about as good as we can do with this sort of lighting. But I think having the blue light in here works quite nicely. So what did I use? I used 85, 185. So we'll drop this down to the same. There we go. Now, this is what I was interested in. With just a single battery in this, we have 11 or 14 days of power. So that's 2 full weeks. I think so far we've probably played through about 30 hours, maybe? No, probably about 20 hours of the game has been actually played so far. So that means we've got about 14 times that. So I don't think we'll ever need to recharge this, especially once we get the second battery up. What we do need, though, is to remember what I was checking before and I got distracted by my running out of jetpack fuel, which is I wanted to see which one of these was which. So this is Gatling turret left and this will be Gatling turret right. And I am willing to bet that the fact that I haven't aligned these two will upset someone, so I'm going to be nice and I'm going to fix it. So let's grab our turret again. There we go. Now they're aligned. You can be happy. There we go. So let's change this to right. Done. Now, this is silly, but I want to do it anyway. On this one, I want to have control of left. And on this console, I want to have control of right. Just for fun. Oops, wrong way. Right. Control. So if I hop in this one, I can grab this turret and see almost nothing because it's late at night. We can just see the silhouette of the cliff lines around. And we can see the alien planet in the distance with its 2 moons. We can see something odd happening with our moon. At least I think that's the moon. There's something weird with the level of detail at this level that makes the moons go odd. And what else have we got in the sky? I think that was Dantus, and I think it might be broken. I'm not sure. We'll find out when we get there, if we get there. What on earth? Why do I have a marker all the way up there? That's weird. So yeah, I want the right one to be controlled by the right and the left to be controlled by the left, so that these are sort of consoles for each of those turrets. Let's get some ammunition, and then this base is pretty well ready. Well, actually, what we should do is rename the beacon. So this beacon will be named Bunker 001. Cool. And we don't need to have the range out anywhere beyond what it currently is, since it only really needs to reach back home. If I'm further away, it's probably not my highest priority. And now we can have a look at the problem which I was mentioning I was going to fix at the end of the last episode, which is we're going to put some lights around the place because I can barely see the solar tower. Once I weld up this bridge, we'll probably put some lights on it too, just for safety. Now, we need some parts so I can place these down. One of those and some of those, that's plenty. Let's grab some fresh tanks. Refill that one just because I'm probably going to end up flying around a bit and it's going to be quite high. So let's not do what we did before. Alright, so warning lights. What we need is red. Lots and lots of red. Let's go with one here. And we'll make it full on red. There we go. And if we turn our lights off, do I want that to go a little bit further? I think so. 5 meters? Yeah, I think that'll be good. So go 5 meters on that one. Then we'll put another one on this side. Do the same with it. And I'm going to have to keep switching my headlamps on and off so that I can actually see what I'm doing. And this is why I didn't do this during the day, because it's really hard to tell just how far these lights are throwing when you've got full bright sun. So there we go, that lights up that bit of tower. Then we'll go for a bit in the middle, so we'll skip the next row and we'll go up to here. Place another light there. This is something that people have been mentioning to me for a very long time, that they were frustrated every time I came back and I hadn't put any lights on, and were just terrified that I was going to crash straight into the solar tower and then spend the next weeks trying to re-establish it. But no, I haven't crashed, and yes, now there are warning lights, at least for part of the tower, and we're about to get the rest of it. So how's that looking? There we go. That makes it pretty obvious, and it's pretty obvious from all sides. We don't need more lights than that. What we do need, though, is lights up the top. So one here, which I'm going to do a little bit differently to the previous ones. I want this light to throw out much, much further. So there we go. Now we can see where it is all the way to the top on that side, but can't see quite so well from this side. So we do still need one more light here, and unfortunately, because of the way these stairs work, I can't place it there. I don't really want to place it off center, so what I'm actually going to do is place it down here, because that'll fit with the pattern of what I've done and should still light everything up adequately. That 1 to 10, and then let's have a look. Oh, whoops, that's the cliff. There we go. Now the tower's nice and bright. And lastly, we need to place some lights on the ends of these. I would like to put little warning flares up on the edges here, but the trouble with that is I can't place these interior lights on the solar panels. I can place corner lights. Have I got some somewhere around here? But the problem with corner lights is if I placed one this way, I'm not going to be able to see that light from this side at all. So I then have to place another light like this onto it, if I can line it up. Another light like that, which then I still can't see from this side. So I'd have to add yet another one in this direction, and I still wouldn't be able to see the light from this side. So it just doesn't really solve our problem, which is why I think we'll just deal with it not having lights all the way out here. If someone has a solution for that, that might work. I would like to hear it so that I can try and do things a bit differently. And this is something that's always a bit frustrating too. For some reason, I can't get at some of these lights with build vision. I don't understand why. Don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'll have to find that light in our control panel so that I can modify it to match what we want. So these two lights, which are the last two placed, we are going to have to go in and fix. Let's fix them first, actually. I was going to go and do the cabin lights, but let's fix those two lights first. Interior lights. It's going to be one of these coloured ones. Now, that's looking pretty default. How about this one? It's looking pretty default. I think it could just be those two. So these two are both red. Let's make these purple and see if both of the lights up there are purple. One is. Let's see if the other end is. Yes, it is. Perfect. All right, it is those two lights. Excellent. This will be light, solar, beacon, solar tower. I don't really mind if I don't know which light it specifically is. Let's crank the radius. Let's put it to 15 on those ones. And this one, same again. Radius 15. This will be light solar tower as well. Okay, those are all named. Now, what I want is some beacon lights for up here. And if we have a look at this end, we'll start with this one. So I want to put one on each corner, one there, and I want to put one here, but I've got that pipe in the way. These pipes are just cosmetic, so I'm going to move them, and maybe we'll do one like that, one like that, and then put these ones in. Like that, and then we can put our light down here. So with my headlights off, we can now get a pretty good idea of where stuff is in the base. We should be fairly safe coming in to land seeing that at a distance. I don't think we'll miss it. And knowing that the red light is the edge of the solar panels means we know we've just got to steer well and truly clear of all of that, even though we can't see where the edge of the panels themselves are. So, there is another thing I would like to do with these panels. And with these lights, I mean. Let's fix up the last interior lights. Now we've got these named, what we can do is create a group with all of them. And these will be Z lights safety beacons. Save. Don't need to show them in terminal anymore. And this is where things get tricky, because now we're about to do something I have not ever done before. And that is grab Izzy's solar panel script. Go edit. Let's just browse workshop, see if there's been any updates since I last ran it. Izzy's solar alignment script, okay. Oh, yeah, they had. So the reason I've gone to Izzy's solar alignment script is that I want to use this function, the base light management. I want to turn those beacon lights off when it's daytime. And that means we need to change this to true. Enable base light management, true. To only toggle specific lights, declare groups for them. And this will be... what did I call it? Perfect. Check code. Okay, remember and exit. And now, hopefully that will mean that these lights are on, and then in the daytime, fingers crossed, I've actually done that correctly. And these lights will turn off during the daytime, saving us a little bit of power. Which is kind of pretty cool. Well, after this little safety special where we've gotten some military devices in place, hopefully in a place good enough to protect us if those drone spawns do start coming at us, and we've gotten some safety beacons on. Next time, I'm going to move on to making the bunker that's on the ridgeline above where the sandbags are currently sitting, since we do need one there as well. And that one I want to build a bit more like a pillbox. Something potentially a bit more rugged than what we've currently got. And I suspect by the time we're doing that, we may actually be within range of the drone base's new spawn distance. So that's going to make it a little bit more exciting since we'll be building under fire. So there's that, and plenty more to come. So I'll see you then.